Hello, Dr. Tawana Worlds by birth, also known as a disruptor. Did you know that millions who grow up in poverty also die in poverty? Have you ever heard the saying, what good can come out of the hood? Well, I'm here to disrupt for just a minute. Yes, I was that little girl that grew up in the hood, grew up in the ghetto, single mother, absent father, eating out of the trash can just to survive. But I was also that girl that determined way back then that I was not going to become a product of my past. And now I help others do the same thing. I'm not a victim, I'm a victor. I help men and women from similar backgrounds find value in their own vault and create wealth from within. So what's up, you guys? Hello, and hello again. Hello, Katrina. Hello, Isaiah. Hello, beautiful brethren. Let me make sure we get up and running over here on these other two platforms, and then I am going to get started, okay? I pray that all is well with everybody on today. How are y'all doing? Make some noise in the chat. How y'all doing? Let me know how y'all doing on today. While I'm waiting, where you are joining me live from on today. Where you representing from? What's up, bro? Rich evening to you. Absolutely. All right, let me see where y'all joining in live from. I know it's more than Katrina and Isaiah. I see the numbers. What's up, Instagram? Hello, beautiful people. Hello, Darren. I think I'm saying that right. It says Darren. That's the way I interpret it. So if I get it wrong, please forgive me. But blessings to you. Blessings to you. Cassandra, what's up? Arlington. Okay. All right. VA, Virginia, hold it down, represent. Sister Dre in the house. Yes. All right, Quail 777. I like that number. North California. Where you up by? Oakland, Sacramento, what? The Bay Area? You know, I'm born and raised on the West Coast, which is the best coast. What's up? Represent. All right, y'all. I'm not going to hold y'all long whatsoever, okay? I have a class that I'm getting ready to conduct. Nevertheless, I am not just a wealth ambassador that just comes by to tell you about, opportunities pertaining to wealth. I am an ambassador. I am a minister. I am a kingdom financier. And we're going to talk about the spiritual laws of wealth and the covenants that we have access and rights to in order to obtain the wealth. What does it literally profit a man or a woman to gain all of the riches and all of the silver and the gold and the bags and all of that and lose your mind? It says lose your soul, but your soul is your mind, your will, and your emotions. So what does it profit us to have all of these things and we ain't got a right mind? Nothing else is in order but the bags. I mean, that's really not wealth. That's just money. So I deal with the whole entire man, in case people don't know. And some have asked several times, well, what kind of doctor are you? I'm a doctor that has the application of the word of the Most High God and the execution. So I know it, and I've also applied it. For years, for a whole decade, I had to show myself to be faithful, to be honest, to be humble, to be well known and liked in the community, to not only do kingdom business, but community work, which is kingdom business. So that's what I have my doctorates in. And if you really want to know what I got it in, it's in deliverance, beating down devils, okay? Breaking chains, breaking generational curses. So I have my doctorates in that. If you are not a believer, that does not mean that you cannot receive what I'm going to say on today, or you cannot apply it to your life. Let me tell you something. Devils know the word and they work it too. Those who believe in devils know the word and they work it too. If you believe in Buddha, if you believe in Allah, if you believe in Hare Krishna, if you work these principles don't discriminate. I'm going to tell you that right now. Jay-Z, Beyonce, a lot of the people sold their souls and they caught up. They do have a blessed life, whether you choose to admit that or not. They have time freedom. They're not worried about what their kids gonna eat. They're not worried about where they're gonna live at. You understand? They can go where they want to go to, when they want to go to. They got power in the earth realm. So these principles apply to anybody that would actually take them and use them. Our problem is we want to have, an issue of they spiritual principles, and maybe you believe in something else. It's like, oh, that's that Christian talk. First of all, let me make that very well known. So do I believe in Christ? Yes. Is Christ within me? Yes. So by those terminologies and definition, that makes me a Christian. But title-wise, I'm a kingdom ambassador. Please don't mix me up with nobody else. I'm here on a mission. I'm about my Father's business. What I believe in is what I reduplicate. That's it. I represent what he already did. That's it. And I let my love and my good works and my conduct be the testament of who I am and whose I am. I don't have to beat you down and make you believe in the word of God and all of this stuff. That's you and your walk at the end of the day. My job is to pronounce the truth. So I'm a watchman here pronouncing the truth, whether you receive it or not. And like I said, even demons can take this word and apply it, and it'll still work for them. That's how you see these people in high places, spiritual wickedness in high places, utilizing the principles. They know the word. They just went and changed it up, call it law of attraction. No, the word says, as long as there is earth, the world, the cosmos, there will always be seed time and harvest. They call it the law of attraction. Manifestation is real. As a man thinketh, so is he. That's real. So they take it and they put it in all kind of other stuff and twist it all up, and you can manifest cards and you got these supernatural powers and ability. And by right, you do. Sad fact is the world know it more than the believers or those who profess to know the Most High God. And I'm just here to disrupt for a little bit. Because we can't be walking around talking about we know the Most High and we woke and all of that, and we ain't living and walking the way the Most High has purpose and predestined for us to live. We misrepresenting, right? If you a policeman and you misrepresent by doing something in that uniform. Now, you can do something off duty and you will not face a worse repercussion than what you would do when you got that uniform on, when you got that badge on. That is when repercussions come in, because you are representing a brand. You are representing a brotherhood. You are representing a entity. Fire department, nurses, they wear uniforms. Better not do nothing in that uniform. Postal employees, they wear uniforms. Popes, they wear uniforms. Presidents, politics, they wear uniforms. Okay? And that is what identifies. Hold on one second. My daughter's trying to call me on Messenger. So that is what identifies who they represented. That's that, by their badge, by their uniform. I don't care what color of the skin inside of the uniform. Let a cop stand in the middle of traffic and raise his hand. All cars are coming to a stop, and he ain't got nothing, or she ain't got nothing to physically stop the cars from going or running him or her over. Nevertheless, because they got that badge, that whistle, and that hat that represents that I am a man or a woman in authority. And when I put my hands up and I say stop, or I blow this whistle, if you don't, there will be repercussions. Same thing applies to those who profess to be kingdom ambassadors or believers. And there is a way that our kingdom functions. And it is not according to this world and this world system. Therefore, we ain't got to be boggled down and worried like the world. Yes, we see all of this stuff going on. And yes, we need to get our stuff in gear. And we need to make sure that we are following what we are being told, what we discern, what we sense. Some people call them vibrations. I call it what it is. Spirit of God is speaking to the Spirit of God on the inside of me. His Spirit on the inside of me, letting me know which direction, which course I need to take, the GPS route I need to follow. If there's detours, what's going on? He gives me insight and eyesight and hindsight to what's going on, because he promised me he is a covenant-keeping God, and it does not matter if I'm in right standing or not. Now, there's benefits to being in right standing, but it does not matter if I'm in right standing or not. These principles, his word, he exalts above his own very name. And one thing about his word, it will never return to him void. That's why devils have used it. The devil knows the word, because he will never go against his word. So that's what I'm here to talk to you about on today, on this evening. Covenant. The covenant. Because this covenant works even if you out of order. This covenant works. Why? Because God is a God of covenant. And if I said it, so shall it be established. I am not a man that I should lie, neither am I the son of man that I should repent. If I said it, so shall it be accomplished. And you know what? Another thing, he watches over his word to perform it. He don't watch over you to perform. He watches over his word. So when you apply his word, when you speak his word, when you utilize his word, when you obey his word, when you activate his word, he now has a job. He now has a reason to bless you. If you understand, just say yes, yes in the chat. It's a simple principle. I taught this at the Wealth Encounter this weekend. We make it complicated. We make it complicated, especially in the Christendom religion. Make it complicated. That you got to have all these theatrics, and you got to have all of this, and you got to have all of that, and you got to be all of this, and you got to be all of that. His principles work even for the wicked. He is the God that reigns on the just and the unjust. He is the God that blesses the righteous and the unrighteous. It's simple. We make it overcomplicated. It's really simple. If you do this, then you shall surely have this. And if you don't do this, then you shall surely have that. It's simple. If you would hearken and do all that I am commanding you to do, then you shall eat the good of the land. Then you shall be blessed when you go and when you come. Then you should be blessed in the city and in the field. Then you should be fruitful, and everything that you put your hands to do shall prosper. And if you don't, then you will be cursed, and you will be in lack, and you will be barren, and you will be wanting. Simple, right? Simple. So now there becomes an evaluation. What haven't I done to enact? It didn't say if you be perfect. If you attend 50 church services. If you are faithful to the man of God or the woman of God. It does not say that. If you are a tither, it does not say that. Woo! Yes, because the church is messed up. They believe, well, if I give my tithes and I give my offerings, then I'm good. Then that warrants the Most High God to bless me. First of all, your tithe belongs to him and his house. And some may have an issue with that. Well, the tithe was for the priesthood. Well, there's still houses, and there's still God's people being fed in those houses. Whatever the pastors or the pimps do with whatever is given unto them. They gonna be accountable, but that does not take away the accountability of us for us to make sure that the houses are functioning so the people can go in and be fed. That does not take away from that. We are accountable for that. That's facts. And as I always state, I don't have an issue at all with the church. I have an issue with the systems and the structures and all of the traditions and rudiments of man, and how people go in there one way and come out more bound, and you know, all of that stuff. So I'm not one that speaks against the church. I speak against the foolishness and the rhetoric and the demonization and all of this other stuff that goes on in the building. But the church has its purpose. Many of us would have never even come to the knowledge of who God is without the church. And if you want to be truthful about it, it's the church, the ecclesia, the called out ones, that have allowed this foolishness to go on in the houses, in the buildings. Spend more time talking about it than praying against it. Spend more time complaining about it than interceding on behalf. I mean, so we didn't let it happen. We didn't let him take God out of school. We didn't let him take God out of everything. We can't blame that on nobody. We're going to take the fault for that. We was too busy doing otherwise. And then we got to complain in the murmur ministry, you know. All the stuff that we don't like, that we never fix or we never change. We just murmur and complain. And that's why we've been wandering around the wilderness for so long. That's why we ain't got nowhere. And now is a Kairos moment where the Most High God is trying to give us back what he swore unto our forefathers. He is trying to put us in position because those 400 years was up, been up. So he is trying to allow us to get into the proper position instead of being upside down. He now needs us to be up, right side up. And he's putting us in those positions. And he's correcting a lot of errors within us. We like to point the finger on everybody else, but we look within. Which leads me to where I'm coming to today. In Exodus, let me make sure I'm going to use this phone so I don't have to go in between turning the screen and turning the cameras over here. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to give y'all, first of all, we're going to go to Genesis 46. And like I said, whether you believe this or not, you can learn a lot from a dummy. Remember that commercial? You ain't got to believe my beliefs. Believe the principles. I dare you on today to just put into practice the principles. Forget all the other stuff. Forget all of the, well, I don't believe in a white man's book, but you work a white man's job. And I don't believe, and that Caesar Borgia. And yeah, all of that is correct. But the principles have always worked, and they are still working if you work them. So that's where I'm going with this, okay? I'm firm on what I believe. I cannot be persuaded. So I'm not here to persuade you on what you believe. But I'm here to tell you that there are some principles that work for you and I, and anybody that will practice these principles. Genesis 46, and I am going to verse number 27. I'm just trying to get it out of this translation. Hold on one second, you guys. Okay, so here we go. I think I want to go back one. Hold on one second. We're going to Genesis 46, but here we go. Genesis 45. So we're going to start Genesis 45, and then we're going to jump over to Genesis 46, okay? And this is the story, and I'm just paraphrasing to get us to where I'm going to inside of this particular scripture. This is the story of Joseph. Many of us know the story of Joseph was betrayed, sold, hated by his brethren to Pharaoh in Egypt, in a foreign land. And so now, after he's been in prison and all of this other stuff, falsely accused, and the baker remembers, Joseph, and now he's in a place of prominence and he's working for Pharaoh, etc. There's getting ready to be a famine. And the brothers who sold him into slavery comes looking for food. And when they get there, and Joseph reveals that it is me, your brother, the one you sold into slavery, that is the one in position to give you something to eat. But before I give it to you, I want you to go back and get my father and the rest of my family. Now, here we go. Genesis 45. And I'm going to start at verse 4. Then Joseph said to his brothers, "Come close to me." When they had done so, he said, "I am your brother Joseph, the one that you sold into Egypt. But do not be distressed, and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. For 2 years now there has been a famine in this land, and for the next 5 years there will be no plowing and there will be no reaping. But God sent me ahead of you to preserve for you a remnant on earth and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So then it was not you who sent me here, but God. He made my father. No, he made me father, to Pharaoh, Lord of his entire household and ruler of all of Egypt. Now hurry back and go to my father and say to him, this is your son Joseph. God has made him Lord over all of Egypt. Come down to me and do not delay. He told him this: you shall live in the region of Goshen and be near to me. You, your children, your grandchildren, your flocks, and your herds, and all that you have shall come to Goshen. For God will provide for you there, because 5 years of famine are still coming. If you do not come, you and your household and all that belongs to you will become impoverished. So I want to now jump over to Genesis 46. And I'm going to catch us up to where I'm going. We're going to go to 28. Verse 28. Genesis 46 and verse number 28. It says now, hey, Sister Latavia, how you doing, sis? It says now Jacob sent Judah. I need y'all to pay real close attention to this part right here. Now Jacob sent Judah. Judah is praise. 12 tribes of Israel. Judah is the Negroes. Now check this out. They could not even get or enter into Goshen unless Judah went first. So Jacob sent Judah first, which means praise. Yeshua, Jesus, is the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Judah is the Negroes, just so we clear. It says, now Jacob sent Judah ahead of him to Joseph to get directions to Goshen. When they arrived in the region of Goshen, Joseph had his chariots made ready and went to Goshen to meet his father Israel. And as soon as Joseph appeared before him, he threw his arms around his father, and they wept for a very long time. And then they went and they spoke to Pharaoh to ask for the best part of the land, which was Goshen. Even though Joseph was lord over Egypt, Pharaoh was still ruler over Egypt. So the rest of that story talks about how he told his brothers what to go to Pharaoh and say, even with the herdsmen. And so they did it, and they were rewarded the best part of the land, which was Goshen. Now I want to jump over real quick to Exodus. And I'm going somewhere with this. That's why I'm saying this. I'm just laying a foundation, and I'm telling you what I came here to tell you on today. This is really working my nerves today. So Exodus 9 and 26. Exodus 9 and 26. I might start from, I'm going to start from 23, but the key scripture is 26. Now, catching us up to here, this is right in the middle of plagues and punishment. This is where the children of Israel had been taskmasters, well, slaves under the taskmaster of Pharaoh in Egypt for 400 years. Sounds familiar? They had got rich, built multiple cities and kingdoms off the back of God's people. And God said time was up. So the plagues had came, but before the plagues had come, God had heard the children of Israel's cry and raised up a deliverer named Moses to send them to prepare them that you're getting ready to be delivered. Before you are delivered, you are to go to each of your Egyptian neighbors, and spoil their spoils. Plunder the Egyptians, okay? This was before the plagues. Moses went to the children and told them, you're getting ready to be delivered. But first, go to your Egyptian neighbors and get all of their silver and get all of their gold and take all of their raiment. They were actually told to plunder, which means to ransack. It means to steal. It means to take with force. So he told them, go take, and that don't mean, he said, go knock on your Egyptian neighbors' doors and ask them for gold and silver. Who would have done that? Who would have gave it to them? It said they went And he told them to plunder the Egyptians. And not only did they have gold and silver, they had raiment, and raiment is separate from clothing. Clothing is what I have on, cotton, t-shirt, clothes. Raiment is diamonds and jewels and ballroom type of, and shoes and all of that stuff. The type of stuff you would wear. Wealthy people would wear raiment. So he told them to go plunder the Egyptians. And then, this is where I'm going right here. Now that we all caught up, this is what started happening in Exodus 9 and 23. I'm going to start here. When Moses stretched out his staff towards the sky, the Lord sent thunder and hail, and lightning flashed down to the ground. So the Lord rained hail on the land of Egypt. Hail fell and lightning flashed back and forth. It was the worst storm in all of the land of Egypt. Ever since its foundation, ever since it became a nation, this was the worst storm that had ever hit Egypt. This was judgment. This was the Lord's judgment coming down on the captors that had put his people in captivity and refused to let them go. If you are following along with me, I just want you to say yes, yes in the chat, because I'm laying a foundation and prophetically speaking according to the time that we are in. And hopefully in revisiting this, you will hear by way of the Holy Spirit what the Most High is saying to you in this hour, that deliverance is here. Now he told him, you got work to do. I'm here to deliver you. But you must go to the neighbors, to the Egyptian neighbors. You must plunder them. Did he plunder them and just give it? No, he said you must go and plunder them. Now check this out. So there was work involved. It wasn't just getting delivered without doing work. They even had to make a sacrifice, offer a sacrifice. They even had to paint blood on their doorpost and over the lintel of the house. They had a part to play in their deliverance as well. But let's keep reading. In Exodus 9 and 25, throughout Egypt, hail struck everything in the fields, both people and animals. It beat down everything growing in the fields and stripped every tree. What was God tearing down? Their money, their resources, the animals, which brought them resources and money. People which maintained the animals that brought them resources and money. God was tearing down their financial institution. Every plague that hit Egypt was to cripple them and disintegrate their financial kingdom. And Satan, you cannot twist up my words. I know you mad, but here's the cape that gets super mad, because I'm going to keep on speaking the truth. The waters, people could not drink, neither could they feed their produce or water their crops. Finances. The frogs, people couldn't go to work. They were infected with frogs and infected with flies. They could not produce. They had 3 days of darkness. They could not see even their own hand in front of their faces. Everything, their cattle, their land, everything that pertained to the wealth that they had got illegitimately off the backs of God's people was being reduced to nothing. So here we go. It said hail struck everything, both in the fields, on people and animals. It beat down everything. The trees, which provide oxygen, which provide shelter and shade. Everything was getting beat down. Now here's the key verse that I want to go to, is in Exodus 9 and 26. The only place it did not hail on was in the land of Goshen, the very land that God told them to get to. After he told them to plunder the Egyptians, he told them, you better get to Goshen because it's about to go down. Get to Goshen. Goshen means a cultivated place. Goshen is the place where the Lord himself feeds you. Goshen is a place where you rapidly multiply. We finna walk this word. You finna find out. They had to do something. They had to activate the covenant so God can complete the covenant. Now, how is it that Goshen is in the land of Egypt? Can you imagine? A place inside of a place. And everything around you being destroyed, but you not. Because that's what I came here to announce to you today. If you would wake up and you would hear what the Most High is saying to you, you could escape as they escaped the judgment of the Most High God upon the heathen and upon the oppressors. Because, baby, trust me, we see all of this happening. The Lord told me yesterday they set in the stage for themselves because the story is already written. I said that they would run into the mountains and pray and ask for the mountains to fall on them, and it will not happen. What we see them doing with blocking out the sun and causing food shortages, you know what the Most High is doing right now? He is positioning us so that it passes over us. He is giving us the opportunity and the ability to get to Goshen. Woo, let me calm down. I get riled up, y'all. I get riled up. Because we are not a people without hope. Period. Our problem has been obedience. If you can trace God, you can trust him. That's how I know when God says something, because he done did it before. If it sound new, then I got to go pray and intercede about that, because I ain't never heard it. So then I ask for interpretation or confirmation, revelation, insight, wisdom. I don't just disregard it. Because there's a lot of things that are not in the book or that have been taken out of the book. But if I can trust, if I can trace that you done did this before, because you said you change him not. You said, I'm the God that changed him not. I'm the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. Do you understand me? So if you did it before, you're going to do it again. Period. That is how I know. I don't need no 50,000 confirmations. If I didn't seen it done before, I know for sure. I know for sure. That is my confirmation. Period. Now check this out. It said the only place it did not hail was in the land of Goshen, where the Israelites were. Now imagine the Israelites saying, well, I'm not going to Goshen because, my mama and them don't want me to go. And I'm not going to get to Goshen, you know what I'm saying, because my job won't let me go. And I'm not going to get to Goshen, and I'm not going to obey what you're saying, God, at this time. I'm not going to get to Goshen, you know what I'm saying, because my wife, we just bought a house over here, and it's nice. Can't you just protect us over here? Can't you just bless us over here? Can't you just give it to us over here? And that is not the way that God works. He's not on your timetable. You're on his. And you follow his flow. It's in him we live, we move, and we have our being. It is not in you, beloved. It is not in you. He don't function according to the beat or the rhythm of your step or your drum. You do what he say and live how he said you can live. Period. It's simple. It's real simple. It's real simple. This is heavy. I know I'm going to have part 2, part 3. Might have to come back later on or tomorrow, because I'm going to give you what the Most High sent me to give you. And those that got an ear to hear will hear what thus saith the Lord unto them. He actually tell us, pray that you may be able to escape. I see you 33, and y'all going to understand why I said that in a minute. That's divine confirmation for me. And no, I'm not all off into numerology, but my God is a God of numbers, okay? On the 3rd day, Christ was raised, okay? So much so that we go through, as women, 3 trimesters of pregnancy, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. We go through 3 stages in life: childhood, adulthood, elderlyhood. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Yes, yes, yes. I'm glad you still following me all the way from back then. HRJ, bless God for you. Thank you for the encouragement. I'm always going to sound the alarm. I'm always going to blow the whistle. And I'm not going to be biased about blowing it either. Spiritually, physically, it doesn't matter. I'm a truth speaker. I speak the truth in season and out of season. So I thank you for your encouragement. And I will keep on doing so. And I will keep on sticking up for us. And I will keep on sticking up for the brethren and for the body. I will keep on doing that to my very last breath. Now, when the Most High say, I need you over here to get to this, he told us, pray that you may escape all that is coming upon the face of the earth. Pray that you may escape. Most people think, oh, I'm going to be wrapped up and zoomed up in some type of alien, machine. I'm going to be caught up and I'm going to go on the rapture. That is not what that means. Bible said, a wise man see a calamity coming or danger coming and he hideth himself. How do you hide yourself? But a fool will see it coming and will look at it and let the calamity come upon them and perish. So he tells us, pray that you may escape all that is coming upon the face of the earth. How do we escape? Well, if there's a famine and we got food, then we escape that, correct? If that makes sense, put yes, yes. If you walking with me, just put yes, yes. If he has given us diplomatic immunity to not be touched by viruses and germs, that's Psalms 91. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art my rod and my staff. No evil plague or no disease shall come nigh unto my dwelling. That's diplomatic immunity. And many of you guys can say right here today that I didn't get touched by that plague, that last plague that just came upon the face of the earth. The one they're still trying to stretch out. I'm one that can testify. I didn't get touched by that and will not be touched by it. That is not my portion. In my kingdom, there ain't none of that. And even though I reside in this world, I am not of this world. So what happens to this world does not affect me unless I open up a door. I become like the world. Hello, somebody. Come out from amongst them. Unless you be partakers of their sins and receive of their plagues. Hello, somebody. Come out from amongst them unless you be partakers of their sins, which means whatever they did now, you accountable for it too. And you will receive their plagues. I don't have nothing to do with this system outside of getting up and obeying the laws. I'm of the kingdom of God. That's why during the Emic, we didn't miss a beat. And we ain't worked no job. We worked the works of the kingdom. And the kingdom took care of us and still is taking care of us till this day. While most had that moratorium in place for their rent and let their rent back all the way up, Most High said, you better not do that. I'm going to provide for you. You pay your rent monthly. You pay your car payments monthly. You pay your stuff monthly. You don't need none of them services. Didn't get no EDD. Because I wasn't finna be one of them 1 million people trying to ring your line and ask you for some money. Heck no. That was the whole goal, to get us dependent upon you. I'm not dependent upon man. Cursed is the man that make arm or man or flesh his strength. No. That was a time of great awakening for me. I have no other choice, no other option but to trust you in real life. Playtime is over with. All that dibbling and dabbling, straddling the fence, done. Because this is real. And I don't need another sign for a wake-up call. This is really real. So all my games and playing was over. Period. And that's when I got into what you need me to do. I'm not going to tell you what I'm not finna do no more, what I ain't got time to do no more. I'm going to make time. I'm not finna tell you what I don't feel like doing no more. I'm not finna do any of that. I'm not finna play with you. Because Stevie Wonder can see that this is almost over with. And this is not a game. And we had years to be confused, and we had years to be angry, and we had years to be, black power. We had years to do all of that. I'm done with all of that. Okay? What you need me to do? You created me. So I'm not here on my own accord. What you need me to do? And he gave me the instructions. This is what I need you to do. Start building right now. Build while they plotting. I need you building. And these are the things that y'all gonna need. You get these 4 institutions, you'll be okay. These are the 4 things that you need. And I need you to start educating yourself so you can go back and educate them when I tell you to call them. So that they can reduplicate. It ain't going to take no whole bunch of years. Why? Because I am the God that will establish covenant that I swore unto your forefathers. You know what the word was on today? You want to know what my daily word was today? Check this out. Check this out. The verse of the day today, and I get them every day, a new verse every day. The verse of the day today was Joshua 1:8. Now we talking about when they getting ready to move into the promised land. You know, the ones who wandered in the wilderness, they died in the wilderness, but now there was a new generation, Joshua and Caleb generation, that was going to actually go in and possess the land. Same ones who came back and reported, oh, those are just grasshoppers to our God. So now it's time for them to go in. Joshua 1:8. Listen what the word was on today. Long ago, I promised the ancestors of Israel that I would give this land to their descendants. Let me keep reading. Not today. Long ago, I promised the ancestors of Israel that I would give this land to their descendants. So a promise has been made. And God is the God of covenant, which means he keeps his promises even when we don't. So be strong and brave. Be careful to do everything that my servant Moses taught you. Never stop reading the book of the law that he gave you. Day and night, you must think about what it says. Here's the catch 22. If you obey it completely, you and Israel will be able to take this land. That was the word today. That was the word long ago, I promised. Now I'm showing up in your generation to fulfill my promise that I promised to your ancestors long ago. That I would give this land to their descendants, you and I. So be strong and be brave and be careful to do everything that my servant Moses taught you. Never stop reading the book of the law that he gave to you day and night. You must think about what it says. If you obey it completely, you and Israel will be able to take this land. Now let me go back over here. So as you can see why the judgments were coming down on the heathen. Can you imagine being in a country? Say Egypt, because Goshen is in Egypt. And it's tearing up everything and everybody out all around you but you. The best analogy that I can give you is this. That's just like last night, it was a tornado here and it was blowing and knocking stuff all around outside. But wasn't nothing touched in my house. Even though the tornado was in Texas and my house is in Texas, wasn't nothing touched in my house. And nobody in my house was touched. But everything outside, I mean, from trees to everything that could be flipped and thrown up was scattered everywhere. Toys, everything. That is what the Most High God is wanting to do for us. Let me give you these other few scriptures and then I'm gonna go, and I have to come back later on and finish it because my class starts in 5 minutes. I'm trying to get all of them so I can just give them to you as Exodus 10:23. Y'all remember that? Exodus 23. Let me just give y'all these scriptures real quick. That way you can go look them up your own self. Deuteronomy 6:22. Give me 1 second. Nehemiah 9:10. Jeremiah 32:20. Exodus 7:22. I'm not going to be able to read all of them, so that's why I'm giving to you. I'm going to just jump to Exodus 7:22 and I'm going to go to Exodus 10. I'm going to go to those ones really quick, okay? Okay, so I'm just going to go down and you can read it yourself all the way down here. It talks about the frogs. It talks about the gnats. It talks about the flies. And then right here in 7:22, it says, after he started doing all of this to the Egyptians, but on that day, I will set apart the land of Goshen where my people dwell, so that no swarms of flies shall be there, that you may know that I am the Lord in the midst of the earth. And there I will put a division between my people and the Egyptians. And tomorrow this sign shall happen. And so did the Lord. There were swarms of gnats and flies and frogs on the Egyptians, but they never touched God's people in the land of Goshen. Let's go over to 10, Exodus 10, really quick. 10:23. I'm going to start at 22. So Moses stretched out his hand towards the sky, and total darkness covered all of Egypt for 3 days. 3 days of darkness. Y'all didn't heard that before, right? 3 days of darkness. Some people say, I don't believe that or not. It's written. And it's also written in the New Testament that there will be 3 days of darkness in Revelation, okay? I ain't got time to go there. So Moses stretched out his hand towards the sky, and total darkness covered all of Egypt for 3 days, so much so that they could not even put their hand in front of their face. Check this out in verse 23. No one could see anyone else or even move. They was terrified to move because it was so dark. Yet all of the Israelites had light and life in the places where they lived in Goshen. Brothers and sisters, this just gets real deep, because in Genesis, and I want to say it's in Genesis 12. Give me 1 second. I'm going to give y'all that. I'm going to give y'all that, then I'm going to go. Genesis. And I'm going to be in this vein until after Passover. Genesis 12:7. Genesis 12:7 is, you want to know why God told him to get to Goshen? Because that is where he promised Abraham, the progenitor of our faith. We are the seeds and sons and daughters of Father Abraham. And he swore a covenant to Abraham. And Goshen was a part of that covenant. So whenever calamity happened, what did God say? Get back to covenant. Get back to the place where I swore that I will protect you. Get back to the place where I swore that I will look out for you and take care of you. Covenant, because God is a covenant-keeping God. And I want to tell y'all something that he told me, that he sent me here to tell you, but I'm out of time, and I'm going to come back and finish what God said. You guys, make sure you tune in to the next live broadcast. You don't want to miss it. Many people have missed it and are going to miss it and are missing it now. But God is the God of covenant. And I really need y'all to see something so that you can apply it and live in the blessing of Goshen for what's to come. Just today, they said another Indian virus is infecting animals and people. Are you following me? If you're following me, just say yes, yes. If you're following me, just say yes, yes. Because we just talked about the plagues in Exodus 9 that affected what? Animals and people. Come on, somebody. God is trying to get a message to us. And if we would hearken and listen and obey, there will be nothing that the Lord Most High will withhold from us. So with that being said, I got to go. I'm 2 minutes late. I will try to come back tonight. We got some things to do at the center because we having grand opening this Friday. But I will try to come back tonight. If I don't come back tonight, I'm gonna try my best, because the Lord has set this on me. You need to tell them this. And I want to be obedient. But this type of word has to be walked. You can't just drink this. It gotta be walked. You gotta understand it line upon line, precept upon precept, so you can apply it, so you can believe it, so you can receive from it. So make sure you come back and make sure you tell somebody. A share don't cost you nothing. And you never ever know who you were supposed to share the good news with and you didn't, that you're gonna give an account for, okay? So I will be back. Make sure you look for me. If not tonight, tomorrow. I'm going to press my way and try to get here, even if it's late. I'm going to try to come back and give y'all, because I don't want to be accountable or hinder you, who I'm sent to tell this to. So with that being said, I love y'all, and I will see y'all soon, okay? All right, y'all, I got to go.